Hello and welcome to The Nerve at Night. I am your host, Maureen Callahan, and we have an incredible show for you. Now, when I say The Nerve at Night, I'm still kind of getting used to it, and it reminds me of when I used to listen to like the radio at night, like the R&B or the soul stations at night would have these DJs, and they would always go, "It's time to like flip your pillow over to the cool side." And like I'd like to think of The Nerve at Night as like the cool side of the pillow, and perhaps the ice cold side of the pillow, because we're going in on one Jennifer Lopez, who has not been daunted at all by her movie The Kiss of the Spider Woman flopping hard at the box office, and by the rest of America being like, "Lady, we're no longer interested." She's still making the rounds. It's amazing. She's still, you know what? Because this is what these people love. They love nothing more than talking about themselves. It doesn't matter if they're contradicting what they just said 5 minutes ago, or it's not making any sense, or they're hurting people they were once, married to or procreated with. As long as we're talking, and as long as we got cameras on us and we're making headlines and we're showing up in people and we're getting that dopamine hit, it's all good. So we're going to go in on J.Lo, who, by the way, held court with another one of our foremost falling stars, and that is one Howard Stern. And then we're going to get into your feedback, and we have such good stuff. I've been dying to get to this email, this Jennifer Aniston email. And then I'm not going to say who this is, but I love to think of myself as your criminal cultural prosecutor, and think of this offender, a repeat, on the witness stand, and I'm the prosecutor, and I've got the timeline and screenshots and receipts and everything else Heather Gay once said on Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Ready for it? Let's go. We all want the best food for ourselves, our families, our kids, but still we all wonder, no matter the labeling, is this safe? Seed oils, additives banned in Europe, and even endocrine disrupting chemicals like microplastics and heavy metals contaminate our foods. But introducing Olive. Olive is the clean living shortcut on your phone. It's 100% independent, credible, transparent. There is no brand pay to play. A simple scan on Olive looks beyond macros and marketing to flag ultra processing, additives, seed oils, and contaminants with a comprehensive database that you can trust. Proof, not promises. Olive recently completed the largest independent baby food study ever. 300 plus products tested for lead and arsenic in ISO accredited labs. Real tests, real results. Moms, has your baby's food been contaminated with lead? Simply scan with Olive to find out. If you are frustrated by reading confusing food labels and ingredients that you can't even pronounce, Olive is your answer. Listeners of The Nerve get an exclusive 7-day free trial. Try Olive. Scan your pantry. Make sure you're feeding your family the very best. Download Olive now in the App Store. Olive, 100% independent, credible, transparent. Scan, swap, exhale. Okay, so Jennifer Lopez went and did like an hour-long interview on Howard Stern. And, this really goes to show you that these legacy media people who think that the reason that really popular podcasts work is because they just have, an hour plus or 2 hours or 3 hours, and they can go and have a deep conversation, that's the secret sauce. You got to have a subject, and you've got to have an interviewer who are both willing to get real and play ball, and and when you've got a guest who's maybe not seeming to be, okay, I will generously say dialed into oneself. I would more realistically say talking a bunch of shit that gets herself off the hook, and you don't push back, that's when you lose people. That's why Howard Stern is like completely irrelevant. He used to be, confrontational when necessary and like capable of having a really compelling conversation. Not so much anymore. He gets a star in front of him and he's like a little lapdog. So anyway, J.Lo went on Howard, and she's been married like 4 or 5 times. No, three, maybe. I don't know. I can't keep track, but many times, and engaged many times, and she has had children with one of her former husbands, Mark Anthony. They have twins, and there's nothing better than hearing someone. You know what? I'm not going to spoil it. Let's listen, and we'll talk about it on the back end. Here we go.
Do you think you've truly been loved?
No.
No. And do you think you really have experienced loving someone?
Yes.
You have?
Yeah.
And when you can't get that love back?
What I learned, it's not that I'm not lovable. It's that they're not capable.
They can't love.
They don't have it in them. They need to appreciate the little person inside of them. They need to love
give.
them. Yeah.
You've been in relationship with
And they gave me what they had.
Right, but
they
it's not
gave me
enough.
all of it. Every time.
But it's this much. It's
All the
little bit.
rings, all the things I could ever want.
Right.
They tried to give me the houses, the rings, the marriage, all of it. But
They didn't love you.
they didn't.
And didn't know you.
And I didn't love myself.
Okay, there's so much to unpack there, but I'm just going to try to keep this brief because she's beyond help. Okay. Jennifer Lopez, in my opinion, is a malignant narcissist. So I love it that every single man she's ever been engaged to or married to actually never really loved her. And the problem is they were so limited that even though they may have, and she's talking about Ben here, okay? She's talking about one Ben Affleck, the rings, the mansions. Do you remember, by the way, when Ben Affleck reportedly, allegedly, this was memorialized, I believe, in an SNL animated short by, oh my God, who's the guy who used to do like the ambiguously gay duo? He's a genius. And then he was behind Conan's Triumph, the Insult Comic Dog, Robert Smigel. I think it was Robert Smigel. Ben Affleck reportedly gave J.Lo like a $24,000 toilet seat. So she's never been loved because they didn't have it in them. And you know what that also says is she's so monumentally great that you have to be like the Olympic gold medal of love in order to love Jennifer Lopez. So anyway, those losers are in her rear view, okay? Even though last week, and we're going to revisit this clip, J.Lo was at the premiere of her bomb Kiss of the Spider Woman, and who showed up but the producer and her two-time ex, most recent ex-husband, Ben Affleck. Let's take a look at her.
They loved it. Oh my God. You're here. Yes, I'll get the picture right now. Oh my God.
She lights up like a Christmas tree. Oh my God, you're here. You're here. I'll be right there. Now, if Ben Affleck was that incapable of loving her, and J.Lo had come to this most consequential realization and had been able to fully put Ben Affleck in her rear view, that would not have been the reaction. In fact, she would have told her people, if he shows up, keep him fucking far away from me. Still would have made headlines, and that's the point. Now, this is a great excuse. A great excuse. And by the way, because I know there are troublemakers out there who have not seen this, and that's because you have a strong self-preservation instinct. I happened to watch this at random and found myself unable to look away. The documentary that J.Lo paid for, $20 million, I believe, out of her own pocket, which was a monument to her and Ben Affleck's romance. The Amazon doc called The Greatest Love Story Never Told. Okay, we're going to watch 3 parts from it. The first, Jennifer is giddily recording herself writing with like 36 other writers because it's such a personal record and Jen is such an artist. Her album, This Is Me Now, which is all about her reignited love affair / marriage to Ben Affleck. Here we go.
On that first day, I showed everybody this book. This book is a book that Ben gave me on our first Christmas back together. It is every letter and every email that we wrote to each other from 20 years ago and today. The Greatest Love Story Never Told by Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck, 2001 and 2021 and counting. It became like our Bible, and we just left it there in the studio, and people would thumb through it. They're like, can we look at it? I was like, look at it.
So, an extremely personal gift that contains extremely personal emails and letters and photos between the two of them. A Christmas gift, a boxed Christmas gift with a handwritten, she leaves out for these strangers to paw through so they can write her latest magnum opus. Another album that bombed. Hope it was worth it, Jen. Anyway, let's watch Ben in this documentary react to the moment he's going to relay, rather, the moment he learned that they look grubby. They all look grubby. They look unwashed. They look messy. These are strangers to him in his house. People he doesn't know, pawing through his most intimate thoughts and feelings and the trust he placed in Jennifer to keep those things private. Here we go.
I came to the house one day, and there was, she had told me the musicians are coming, this great producer, Roger, blah, blah, blah.
We're jamming in the
and
studio.
I went down there, and my book that I had given her was down there. She was like, I've been reading, and this is the kind of inspiration I've been showing them the book. I was like, you've been showing all the musicians all those letters that, and they were like, yeah, we call you Penn Affleck. And I was like, oh my God. I did really find the beauty and the poetry and the irony in the fact that it's the greatest love story never told. And if you're making a record about it, that seems kind of like telling it.
The editors did a great job there because, as he says, if this is the greatest love story never told, and then you're making a record about it. And they cut to her in the studio with these paid friends and collaborators. And Jen's like, ha, 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 and like reveling in her being like, the girl who finally got picked at age 58 or however old she is. And then they cut back to Ben Affleck looking thoroughly depressed and defeated. And he's like, yeah, then you're telling it. Now, we saw how that worked out. Now, Jennifer Lopez. I'm screwing up my Jennifers. She went on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen last week, and Andy asked her about any commentary she might offer about her another ex-fiance I forgot about. There's so many. A-Rod, Alex Rodriguez, who, by the way, is the subject of a new HBO documentary. I think it's HBO, and we're going to keep our eye on it. Cheating on her with a Bravo celebrity from Southern Charm named Madison LaCroix. Now let's watch J.Lo field this question, and then I've got another little tidbit on the back end of this.
The Bravo-verse will kill me if I do not ask this next question.
What's that?
Okay. It came up at a Southern Charm reunion a few years ago. Southern Charm is a show about a group of fops in Charleston, South Carolina.
Jen pretends to have no idea.
A-Rod was DMing one of the cast members.
Okay.
And
no idea.
There was a lot of speculation in the press or on this show that
Andy's
somehow
punting it
led
to others.
your breakup. Is there anything you can speak to about that?
I really have nothing to say about my personal life anymore.
Oh, okay. Sure. We'll see how long that lasts because we've all heard that before, sister. Now, that reunion, Southern Charm has long been one of my favorite reality shows on Bravo. Can they keep it going? I don't know. Last season was kind of weak, and we all know a lot of the storylines were manufactured. However, this reunion, which I want to say was 3 seasons ago, maybe 2, Craig Conover. So the cast member that Andy's alluding to is Madison LaCroix, who has surgically reinvented herself. But she's kind of got that kind of masculine body type, like jawline that like Alex Rodriguez likes. Like he likes a masculine woman. Know what I'm saying? So Craig Conover rolled up to that reunion. Craig is the pillow magnate now of magnate of Charleston, South Carolina. He was wasted. He was out of his mind. He was clearly, my opinion, on booze and drugs, something else. I mean, he was slouching in his chair. His eyes were glassy. His speech was slurry. And he had that kind of disinhibition that only substances give, where you're like, fuck it, I'm just going to say the truth. And he goes to Madison. He says, hey, we all know that you've been DMing and you've been having an affair with an ex-MLB player who is engaged or married to a mega A-list star. And everybody out in the audience knew it was A-Rod cheating on J.Lo. And Madison denied it. And J.Lo, whatever. But, 2 weeks later, basically, J.Lo and A-Rod broke up. Okay. And that was one Craig Conover's contribution to the culture. He never gets the credit for that breakup, and he never gets the credit for Bennifer Part 2. If not for Craig Conover being wasted out of his head on that reunion, we wouldn't have this storyline. Okay. So Craig, we see you over at the Nerve and we salute you for your work. Now, we are going to, another ex-husband. This is J.Lo's first ex-husband, Ohani Noah. This was while she was on the way up. She was not the megastar that she is now. Now, on the heels of J.Lo saying that no man she had ever been with or engaged to or married to ever really loved her, Ohani Noah told the Daily Mail that, quote, the problem is you, and that she was the cheater. She was the cheater. So much for not being loved enough by the men in her life. And he said in his post, quote, stop putting us down. I guess all these men are they unionizing? Are Jennifer Lopez's exes unionizing? I think Ben would be a natural leader. Hoani then went on in his post, stop putting me down with your victim card. Good point. Everybody's a victim. The problem is not us. It's not me. Okay. The problem is you. You're the one who couldn't keep it in your pants. I love it. I love it. Okay. Husband number 2. Do you remember this guy, Chris Judd? Chris Judd. He was a backup dancer. She married him September 29th, 2001. And by July 2022, they were divorced. That union lasted 9 months. Here's Chris on an episode of Where Are They Now on the now defunct, I think OWN is defunct, Oprah's network. I'm guessing he maybe needed the money, but he's talking about his first impressions of Jennifer Lopez as a lowly backup dancer. Here we go.
So when Jennifer walks in, I shake her hand and we kind of look at each other. I'm like, oh, in my head, I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna marry this woman. That's what I said to myself. I'm like, holy crap.
Now, Chris, when he was with J.Lo, always seemed a bit like her handbag. Like, she can never be without a man. So she's always got some guy in tow, some hapless dude. And Chris just seemed like a nice guy who was in over his head. He never gave interviews. He never sold any of her information. He didn't seem to enjoy the attention. He seemed to really just love her. Now, they got divorced, and we'll hit why on the back end. But Chris here in the same interview is talking about having a fallout with his father, who against his wishes defended him in the press during this divorce. Here we go.
During the time when we were separated and we were going through divorce, I was getting a lot of calls to interview. And naturally, everyone wants to know the dirt about your marriage or whatever, what went wrong. And I never wanted to do that because that's no one's business. And I guess a lot of stories and stuff were on her side. So my dad felt compelled to defend me and give his side of the story, so to speak. I asked my father, please don't do that. I don't need you to do that. I don't need you to defend me. I love you. And it was like one of those moments. He's like, well, I'm going to do it anyway. And well, it's like, well, okay. Well, then I don't have anything to say to you.
They didn't speak for a year as the Chiron after that clip tells us now, here's what's what. J.Lo, during that time, that separation and divorce due to irreconcilable differences, if I recall my timeline correctly, my deep reading of Us Weekly, etc., comes back to me. J.Lo had been making the turkey known as Gigli with one Ben Affleck. That was where they met. And they always denied that anything went on, even though everybody said something is going on. They are not even bothering to hide it. And there was an opening of a restaurant. I believe it was J.Lo's restaurant back then in LA. And she was still with Chris Judd. And Ben sent like 8 dozen red roses. And that was in front of Chris Judd. And it was basically an announcement that, hey, I'm effing your wife and I'm going to take her from you. So that's how that went. Now, J.Lo, again, none of these men loved her. None of them loved her. No, sir. She sat down with, now this is before she was an astronaut, Gail King. She was a mere cub. She was a mere apprentice to the great works of her platonic friend Oprah. J.Lo has moved on at this point to another backup dancer named Casper Smart. He lasted a lot longer than Chris Judd. And here she is telling Gail about her mother's skepticism about this guy. Here we go.
What did she say when you said, Mom, I really like him?
When she found out we were seeing each other, she was like, what are you doing? And I was like, I told her, I don't know what I'm doing. Just ride with me real quick for just a minute, okay? And then
Just ride with
and
me.
then afterwards,
Yeah, it's like a train seal clapping.
And
she saw
working
you
together
together.
and everything. She was like, "Are you happy?" And I was like, "I am happy. I'm just happy
Her mother
right
knew
now.
she wasn't.
I don't know where it's going. I don't know. You know, like
Yes.
don't ask me any other questions." And she was like, "Okay,
Okay.
yeah."
Oh my
She's
God,
not- you know,
Jennifer,
she's
I
my
love
mom. She
this.
wants you to be happy.
She doesn't want you hurt. Yeah.
Oh, what a great, incisive observation, Gail. How about this question? Which was, there was a ton of reporting in the tabloids at the time. I'm not saying that this was actually happening, but this was the reporting I was reading, and it seemed legit. Casper seemed, if not gay adjacent. Casper, I believe, had been spotted shopping for specific items in sex shops. Casper seemed to be, I would say, having a passing acquaintanceship with those things known as glory holes. Just allegedly, reportedly, and I believe that J.Lo was the last one to want to know. Okay, now we are going to, it's not our own love addiction here that's a problem. It's not our own inability to be alone. It's not our own ability to listen to our business managers or mommies who know what's up. But we're going to come right back to, we're going to end this little narrative of J.Lo never being loved. This is so telling. This is the final clip from J.Lo's Amazon documentary about how she and Ben are the greatest love story ever. Suck it, Antony and Cleopatra. Suck it, Romeo and Juliet. Suck it, Harry and Meghan. No, it was J.Lo and Ben. Okay. Now, she is at home in LA in their $65 million mansion, which they're still trying to unload. Ben is out of town at a premiere without Jennifer, and we don't know that there is a real legitimate reason keeping Jennifer from being there with Ben. Remember, these people can fly private, drop of a hat. You got a premiere, I move stuff around, I'm there for a few hours, I stay for the night if I want, then I leave. J.Lo's not there, and she's having a meltdown. And trust me when I tell you, I mean, we're seeing real tears. We're seeing real distress. And I don't think it's for the reason she's given us right here, because she's not that great of an actress. Let's go.
My husband's away at his
She can't even say
premiere,
it.
and I'm really sad.
He left her home. He said, don't come.
I wasn't
opinion.
there with him this weekend.
I wasn't invited, my opinion.
He got great reviews. He's working on this movie and this
I think she would be happy. It's a success for him.
company for a year and a half, and I just feel bad. You just wonder, like, is it worth it? I don't know.
She's barely comprehensible. She is really crying. Now she's scrolling through images of him on her phone and reports
I think I'm just tired.
of him at the premiere, looking great, having a great time. And by the way, this is another one without the magic of professional hair and makeup and whatever surgical or tweakment interventions or tweakments she's having. She's plain. She needs a lot. It's a heavy lift. She was crying because she knows, we all know Ben Affleck. We've been living with Ben Affleck for like 30 something years, right? Will 2027 mark our 30-year anniversary with Ben Affleck entering our lives in the mainstream with Good Will Hunting? She knows that Ben is at high probability of hitting the casino, of maybe boozing, of maybe partaking in other substances, of maybe going on Rhea or finding a 20-something influencer or just a girl who crosses his path. That's the reason for the tears, okay? So let's dispense with this bullshit narrative that none of these men could ever approach loving the greatness that is you, because you, my friend, are a mess. You're a fucking mess. Get out of our faces with this bullshit. Next. Your emails, your intel, and yet another repeat offender in the witness box. We are back in a minute. Today's show is brought to you by Oxford Natural, home of the all-natural Optimum Day and Optimum Night supplements. Are you trying to lose weight after having a baby, prepping for your wedding, or just ready to feel like yourself again? Thousands of men and women across the US and the UK are already doing it with Oxford Natural. Optimum Day powers you with steady energy. It crushes cravings and it keeps your metabolism firing all day. Optimum Night helps you relax, sleep deeply, recover, and keep burning fat while you rest. England soccer legend Michael Owen lost 40 pounds, and Robbie, the face of AFTV, dropped over 100 pounds. It has worked for others too, with customer testimonials attesting to Oxford Natural's effectiveness. So now it is your turn. Scan the QR code or click the link and grab 70% off your first order with code NERVE. No gimmicks, no needles, just results. Oxford Natural. Let's get to work. We are back with the third Nerve at Night. So exciting. Now, we got a ton of reaction to it. And surprisingly, it was like the Jennifer Aniston What's in My Bag segment that Tim, the celebrity makeup artist, and I took apart, and we were making fun of her, me more than Tim, for everything she pulled out of the bag was like another like sponsorship she's involved in, like you half expecting her to pull out like, I don't know, hair extensions or whatever. So this email, I love this email. The headline, this troublemaker needs to be anonymous. It's the real parens not so nice Jennifer Aniston. Hi, Maureen and team. I greatly enjoyed your last episode regarding Jennifer Aniston's complete inability to be authentic, and I think I know why she can't be. At the height of her friend's career, now this troublemaker has a relative and sent me an off the record, very detailed timeline with names and dates, and it all tracks. That's why I'm reading it. Again, this is just this troublemaker's report. I can't vouch for it. This troublemaker says they have a close relative who worked for Jen. I quote, at the height of her friend's career, Jennifer Aniston was less than nice to many people. Again, queens of nice, beware. In fact, she enjoyed being an instigator, like at her own wedding to one Brad Pitt, wherein she repeatedly joked, again, just this troublemaker's report, about the number of previous abortions she'd had in front of Pitt's conservative Oklahoman mother, laughing about it while his mother was nearly driven to tears. That's right. Pitt's mother, who I believe died recently, was conservative, and he's from the Midwest. Jennifer also enjoyed pushing the buttons of the genuinely kind Courtney Cox. I've heard this firsthand that Courtney is a lovely person. And those of her then husband, David Arquette, who regularly came on set to watch and support his wife. This seemed to especially irk Aniston because the Cox-Arquette marriage was seen as genuine and everyone there regularly said so. At the same time, Pitt wasn't welcomed as a supportive spouse on set, aside from his Thanksgiving guest spot on the show, because Pitt would have eclipsed too many other egos, namely Aniston's. That is dark stuff. I think this is why authenticity isn't an option. With Jen, it's a portrait of Dorian Gray kind of situation between reality and persona. So smart water ads it is. Thanks for all you do, our troublemaker in chief. Thanks for you sending that incredible piece of intel. Hey, Maureen, this is regarding Jen Aniston again. Several commenters on YouTube mentioned Jen's slurring speech and non-mobile mouth. That is from her endless surgeries. You guys loved our mini with Dr. Yoon, who said he believes it's from injectables, and the same with Courtney Cox's, and I disagree. I've had conversations with people in the field who say that is a surgical intervention, a lower facelift that is irreversible. And I believe the latter. I'm not a professional. I respectfully disagree with Dr. Yoon because it causes such a speech impediment for these actresses that if they could reverse it, they would have. Returning to our troublemaker from Brookhaven, New York, Jennifer Aniston is so pulled, she's paralyzed. No Botox in her bag. She's so full of it. Does she really think we believe her BS about sleep and smart water? No. Hi, M. Your H here. Troublemaker H. Here's what's in my bag. I know you're dying to know, but forgot to ask. Colon. A big fluffy pillow for a good night's sleep, a bottle of air for me to breathe, a psychiatrist for my mental well-being, a lighter and some accelerant, yes, Ryan, just for you, and the biggest bottle of water ever, because who doesn't want to carry around an extra 45 pounds? Dear Maureen, greetings from Botswana, Africa. Hello. As we were collectively repulsed by Jennifer Aniston performatively rifling through that bag stuffed with her products for sale, I think that we couldn't get past the absolute nonsense that this was her bag full of things she always carries. We, and this troublemaker means the collective we, troublemakers, are wearied by the quote staged authenticity of it all. I love this reference, and I've never heard of this person. The anthropologist Dean McCannell coined the phrase when studying how tourists desperate for an authentic experience of another culture would offer money to find out how, quote, the other really lived. I think this is known as poverty tourism. Understandably, people were more than happy to oblige and began offering fake experiences of authentic life for a fee. This is exactly what aging celebrities are peddling to us today. Fake experiences, real products for sale. Agreed. Whoa, that blew right back on me. Is that a metaphor? Okay. This is about today's mini nerve. Again, plastic surgery. A future episode would be to include a menu cost of monthly/yearly maintenance for non-invasive procedures. This is a great idea. We're going to do an episode about stuff like this in the near future, but you have to note, so it's going to vary, like where you are, the doctor you're going to, etc. But this troublemaker, Susan, says, I would love to do a Fraxel laser myself, but a package of treatments costs $2,500, which I don't have. I can't even afford Botox. Jane Fonda has been the only honest celebrity about this. She once responded in an interview about how great she looks with, quote, it takes a lot of money. Right on, Jane. I mean, you got to give her credit. She is telling the truth about that. Hi, Maureen. Another Brit here. Found you through my dislike of the Markles and stayed for everything else. It's the gateway drug, isn't it? The dislike of Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. Anyway, this troublemaker, Sue, this is vis-a-vis Alec Baldwin. My husband is a truck driver, or lorry driver, as we call them here, on very large trucks. He's also the driver, assessor, and trainer for his company. He says one of the biggest cause of accidents involving large vehicles and also trucker deaths, which we don't hear enough about, is from accidents caused by car drivers cutting up trucks or cutting them off due to impatience and bad road positioning, as Alec Baldwin no doubt did. Keep up the fantastic work. Thank you, Troublemaker. Dear Maureen, I have been, this is a repeat offender. We love repeat correspondence. We've got a bunch of you who are regulars, and we love it. I have been based in Memphis for 15 years now, spending many weeks there every year, and have never gone to Graceland. But thanks to your interview of Donna Presley, that beautiful woman, I am now making it a top priority to go check out Elvis's beloved home. And when you do, this is Paulino, Troublemaker Paulino, buy the highest price ticket you can afford. I have done Graceland, and I did like the highest price, like the all package ticket. And I luckily wound up, just by circumstance, I basically had a private tour guide because nobody else was in my group. And the big one lets you see everything. It lets you see the archives of like the warehouses on site where Elvis's the TVs shot out are stored, the cars are stored, a lot of the wardrobe is stored. And then you can actually board his 2 private planes. And it's incredible to do, because what really strikes you when you do it is how small everything feels, and the juxtaposition of Elvis's celebrity and being the biggest star on the planet, and then the hold he still has on the American psyche today. And you get in this like private plane, the Lisa Marie, and it just feels so small. And it shifts everything you think about celebrity and fame and culture, and just the sort of evanescence of that, and what we're sort of told it means and should be valued at versus what it really is. It'll blow your mind. Do it. Now, Paulino says regarding Ryan Reynolds, that beady-eyed rat creep with the soulless smirk of an arsonist feigning a smile, please consider making a little space next to him for Blake in the Nerve woodshed. Not often will you come across a couple where both belong on Chipper Row. I like that. Chipper Row. I would put them in solitary, though. I would separate those two. Now, Paulino also said, Paulino wrote in, he's an airline pilot. The fact that you think airline pilots who have been unionized labor these many decades are not blue collar is fantastic. We like believing that ourselves, even us cargo dogs. Hello, reporting from Central Ohio. My local Target has Hoda's book for 30% off already. Lots of copies available with a screenshot. Amazing. We love it. Final email in Irish. Hello. Hi, Maureen, a devoted troublemaker here, originally from Yonkers, New York, saying hello from County Cork, Ireland. I know you're a fan of Cillian Murphy, a former Kokorian. I am a fan of Cillian Murphy's. I wondered if you would ever do some sort of anti-wood chipper segment. Here's a guy who's doing it right segment. We absolutely would. And, I always, from time to time in the show, I like to weave in the people and the things that I am absolutely a fan of. And I think the Substack is also going to be a great place for that, where I'm going to be able to put like the things and the people I loved and the people who did it right in the culture this week. We saw him on Graham Norton being an absolute legend, like shining it on as Taylor Swift. That 16-year-old showed, the quarterback gave her the class ring. So she loved that. And then she saw a recent clip of him on Instagram talking about his favorite books. Would you ever consider doing a segment on Irish dudes getting it right? Yeah, I would. My favorite Irish dude of all time is Bono. So there you go. Okay, keep them coming. Keep your emails coming. Email me at Maureen@devilmaycaremedia.com or DM me at Instagram at Maureen Callahan Writer or at The Nerve Show. And of course, the Substack is there for you to join up and talk to your other troublemakers and get all kinds of goodies that you'll see in the launch email that we put out last Friday. And there's shopthenerve.com if you want to do some early Xmas shopping or early holiday shopping, whatever strikes your fancy. So yeah, that's that. I'm this close to pulling out a smart water bottle. Please correct me if I ever go too far. See you in a minute. It's Medicare annual enrollment time, and that means that your mailbox is stuffed, your phone is blowing up with robocalls and texts, and it feels like a total cluster. There is a way to cut through the noise, and this is the one Medicare message that you need to hear. Medicare plans change every year. So even if you're happy with your coverage now, 2026 could screw you over if you don't check what's coming. You could lose coverage for stuff you actually need. And that is why I'm telling you about Chapter, your go-to Medicare partner. They are not like those shady brokers. You know, the ones the DOJ allegedly just sued for pushing plans that pad their own wallets. Chapter is different. They dig through every plan in the country to make sure that you are not getting taken advantage of. And on average, they save people $1,100 a year. Nobody wants to deal with this paperwork, but Chapter makes it quick, under 20 minutes. They will check if your plan is still the best for you for 2026. If it is, great, you're done. And if it's not, they'll help you switch. No BS, no pushy sales, just real talk from people who know their stuff. So call 573-654-7335 to feel confident about your Medicare. We are back. Now, we have to do this. We have to do this because this event regarding this repeat offender was not taken apart properly. And I'm the prosecutor in the DA's office. I like to think I'm the go-to when it's like other people haven't been able to make the charges stick and put this person away, that they're like, go over to Nerve Central and tap her and see if she's got room on her slate. Always room on my slate for this one. Now, Meghan Markle is in federal nerve court in the witness box, and she's going to be made to answer for her inconsistencies here because she went over to a Fortune magazine summit. You know, again, Fortune, Forbes. I don't understand why these otherwise esteemed business publications are devaluing their currency by hosting the likes of this grifter. Now, this was held in DC, and we're gonna begin with talking about, by the way, I gotta preface this. This thing, as I'm talking to you now, streamed like 8 days ago, and it's struggling at like between 45 and 50K views. Okay. People over at Fortune, over at Forbes, Vogue, which is clearly thinking about putting her on their cover. This is what it gets you. Okay. You're a laughing stock. You're a laughing stock and nobody's watching. People aren't even rubbernecking anymore. So Meghan, first, our host, pays fealty. We got to kiss the ring. Got to kiss the ring. Oh, Meghan, you've been so busy traveling around the globe, but you know, your priorities are in check. Watch it. Let's go. Here we go.
You've been all over the place, and we were talking backstage about how, yes, you've been to Europe. You were just in New York, which congratulations, you just won a humanitarian award for your work with online safety for parents and children. And you made it home for one day to see your kids.
Yes, I had to. We were talking about
day.
that because everyone said, oh, you must have gone from Paris straight to New York. I said, no, I need to see my babies. So went back to California for a day and then continued on. But I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you.
At your little summit. I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you. Okay, this is the takeaway. Meghan is bragging about herself. Oh, you know, I'm just so busy. I mean, everybody thought, you know, I would just go from Paris to New York and then straight to here. But no. I had to see my babies. I had to go home. So I went to California for a day and then I flew back here. And, you know, but I'm thrilled to be here. So thank you. Fuck off. Fuck off. You're flying private, number one. Number two, we all know by now you invited yourself to the Balenciaga show. You know, you fucked up with that little stunt driving by Diana's tunnel. William's going to have your metaphorical head before you effing know it. Oh, and then I had to go to New York to collect this award. My husband was so furious. He couldn't even look at me for the disrespect I showed his dead mother, who he can't get over. I'm just being crude here because they're both disgusting people. Oh, and then, but you know what? Nobody realizes that, you know what? I'm a real mom with real kids. And so I flew home to California because I had to see my babies. And then I flew back here and, you know, I'm really happy to be here, which sounds like DC or the afterthought, and like I'd really rather not, but like I'm thrilled. Anyway. Now, our host asks her about how she and Harry planned out what their entrepreneurship and their branding would look like after they landed in California post-Megxit. Now, listen to the question. It's carefully worded, and listen to the answer. Here we go.
So I want to rewind about 5 years ago when you and your husband
sweet.
left England and you descended on Montecito, California, and
quite a
you
word,
planned
descended.
what your next few years would look like in terms of the business impact you could have and the philanthropic impact you could have. And a lot of initiatives are going. But I want to just go back to that moment of as you and your husband were planning this out, how did you think about what you wanted to do, what your ambitions could do, and from your seat, what you could do for women?
Well, I think 5 years ago was a very different situation for all of us.
Of course it was. It was 5 years ago. It was different than
Archie
now.
was so little. And I
Stalling,
just got
stalling.
pregnant with Lily around that same
Stalling.
time. So we were nesting and healing, and also
Healing.
I don't even know I had the bandwidth at that time to think about what the big picture dream was. There was no plan. It was just, let's get through these next couple years, create community, which was always so important to both of us in our new environment.
Okay. I am the prosecutor. I've got my timeline. 5 years ago. Oh, we were nesting. We were healing with the tens of millions of dollars my husband fled with in royal monies. Okay. Here's my timeline. 5 years ago was 2020. That was Megxit. And I'm going to go through it. April 2019, Prince Harry announces his deal with Oprah and Apple TV. CNBC headline from 2019, Apple's latest TV talent is Prince Harry, and he's teaming up with Oprah. That's before Megxit. So they're already plotting as media entities. Megxit is announced January 8th, 2020. That is 8 months later. Headline from the BBC News, January 8th, 2020. Prince Harry and Meghan to step back as senior royals. That's January 8th, 2020. September 2020, the Netflix deal is announced. This is 5 years ago, remember. We're healing. We're nesting. We're not thinking. We don't have the bandwidth. We couldn't possibly. The Guardian headline, September 2nd, 2020. Harry and Meghan sign multi-year Netflix deal. I'm just going to put a pin in this right now because there are more deals at the same time to just tell you this one thing. This is how it works. And I'm not Harry and Meghan, but I've signed enough deals in my time, whether book deals or options for TV or movies or like employment contracts. How it works, it takes months. It takes months. You're drawing up contracts. You're going back and forth. Your team, their team. Meghan loves the phrase redlining because it makes her sound such an entertainment insider. All that is like any given lawyer redlining through a contract and saying, we'd like to strike this out. We'd like to add this. Are you okay with this? Then when all is said and done and those months of negotiations are wrapped up, then it's determined when the announcement will be made, who makes the announcement, who signs off on the announcement, and who stays quiet until said announcement is made, and then what the other party can say. So the idea that Meghan and Harry suddenly got these offers and signed them like within weeks of fleeing Buckingham Palace is bullshit. Just my opinion. They were in negotiations long before they descended on California. And if this so-called reporter or interviewer had done a smidgen of her fucking homework or reading, she would have had an interview that would have gone viral because she would have been saying, hey, I've got this timeline and it contradicts with exactly what you're saying. And I know Meghan's lying because she's got so many tells. We all know them. And one of those tells is just closing our eyelids and fluttering them. And I just didn't have the bandwidth. She's a fucking liar. Back to the timeline. Spotify deal announced December 2020. CNBC headline dated December 15th, 2020. Prince Harry and Meghan will produce and host podcasts for Spotify, starting with a holiday special in December. July 2021. $20 million book deal announced. Vanity Fair headline, July 26, 2021. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle reportedly working on a book about leadership and philanthropy. That never came to fruition because it sounds boring as fuck, but we got Spare. March 2021, the Oprah interview, the famous shot heard round the world.
When I was pregnant, all around this same time, so we have in tandem the conversation of he won't be given security, he's not going to be given a title, and also concerns and conversations about how dark his skin might be when he's born.
What? Oprah was loving it. Oprah was licking her lips. She was like, this is the money quote. Okay, I'm getting Super Bowl numbers. And we all know those claims fell apart like, a cheap piñata. But, Megan's out here still slinging her bullshit. That was 5 years ago, and I was just nesting, and I was pregnant, and I had a baby, and we were just nesting and healing, and I didn't have the bandwidth to plan a multimedia empire that I subsequently, blew up with my inane bullshit because nobody believes the thing I have to say. Now, as to why, Meghan wrapped up this little tour she did the past couple of weeks with this wound up in her Instagram reel, I believe, and then this went viral because everybody pulled it out. Meghan just wants to be a regular person, as she told Bloomberg's Emily Chang. Gosh, the one thing I want people to know about me is I'm just a real person. She just wants to be a person in the world. That's it. She just wants to be a person. And we got the visual of her with her embroidered Longchamp huge bag on top of her luggage, monogrammed with an enormous D and an enormous S for Duchess of Sussex. So it's not that we want to be spotted in the private lounge at JFK, wheeling our shit through with, we just privacy, please. And this brings me to one of the foremost contributions to the culture made in the past 4 years. I'm going to say 3 years. Okay, so this was 2 years. Sorry, 2 years ago. This clip on YouTube, and this is just a clip, it's not the full episode, has over 3.2 million views. Okay, again, people in the media, take note. You want some relevance? Come over to our side of the street, okay? If we'll have you at this point. Meghan wants privacy. She just wants her privacy. So let's take a look at this indelible clip from the Meghan and Harry South Park episode called Worldwide Privacy Tour.
Down with the monarchy! We deserve our privacy! Fuck these people.
Speaking for America. Fuck these people. That does it. That does it for this edition of The Nerve at Night. We will be back here on Friday with a full Nerve, with a reoccurring segment and another fresh one that still has material coming in that we're adding to the active lists. That it's too good. It's too good. We're having so much fun putting it together. So be sure to join us back here on Friday. In the meantime, check out our Substack, sign up, subscribe. All the fun kids are over there, thenerveshow.com. The Nerve merch is at shopthenerve.com. And we'll be back here on Friday with you at The Nerve, where you'll never guess what we're about to say next.